Firstly, Suanne, is it Braun? Your surname?
Let's not go there. It could be a...
Oh, really? I've got options?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Basically, the short story long is my father is of German descent. So, of course, in Germany, das ist Braun, ja.
Well, he's a Rheinberger, so...
So you understand. But so my father is always my father. It's like, is Braun. My mother's name is Dawn. So my mother's particularly keen on Braun, otherwise it's Dawn Braun. And I was going to be a boy called Sean.
Sean Dawn Braun?
Sean and Dawn Braun.
Best answer to a simple question. Yes, absolute gold.
However, there's more. And wait, there's more. So years ago, when I was growing up in South Africa and everyone would say Braun, and years of brainwashing my father going, it's Braun! I'd say, it's Braun, thank you. And then, of course, we'd get to my first name, and people would go, so is it Suzanne? I'd be like, no, it's Suanne, but it's spelled Suanne. And when I lived in America for 10 years, the Americans just couldn't, it became so ridiculous. They were like, Suzanne, it's double barrel?
It's a spelling mistake.
Yeah,
they think
like, no, there's no Z. Yeah. There's no what? There's no Z. There's no Z. It's Suzanne? No, it's Suanne. It's like Suzanne, but so it is Suzanne? No, it's not. Anyway, by the time we got to Braun, I just went, that's fine. I'll answer to that. So there's the answer to the question.
Best answer to a question that wasn't part of the interview ever. So my opening question was going to be something about Stargate. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, so Huffman, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
And it better be a good story, because...
Well, it is actually, because we're very confused as where my husband's black. He's not German, so we don't know where it came from.
Well, but Huffman's... All right, okay, is Huffman a German?
It's a German name.
Yeah. I'm the only person without a German name in this entire conversation.
German.
Hogan.
Hogan! You are now Hogan.
Well, no, he was like in the POW camp.
But
So
I
it's
have
like...
to say, I like Huffman because people can say it, because my maiden name is Collage. So Alaina Collage, I was always the pause on the attendance roll. So I'm like, I'm here, don't bother. Okay. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's pretend to actually start an interview. I don't know why, it's crazy.
Some control here.
Okay. I'm here at Armageddon Expo with two stars of Stargate, but different franchises. Alaina Huffman, who of course we've had on the show before, and Suanne Braun from SG1. Suanne, firstly, how long have you been in Melbourne?
I arrived yesterday, so 24 hours now.
Okay, so enjoying the weather fantastically.
Well, yesterday it was similar to London, so no.
I thought coming from London, you'd think that'd be fantastic. I want to talk to you first because... how much fun was it playing such a cool bad guy? Because Gold System Lords are like cool bad guys, aren't they?
Yeah. It was amazing, actually. And I think also over the years people have asked, because I was only in sort of 3 episodes, one and a bit really, if you counted, because they spliced the other one in half. And people have just said to me, why do you think the character's still so popular and so loved? And I think it's because she was the first kind of glamorous baddie of that particular show, and wasn't one that was an alien that had 5 heads and 3 eyes or something. And yeah, it was fun. Are you kidding? I got to boss all the boys around boss all the girls around and had all the boys falling all over me. I mean, what's not to love?
You got to pick on Richard Dean Anderson. Any good Richard Dean Anderson stories?
Oh, many.
Any you can tell us?
Yeah, well, the thing that sort of struck me, and I'm a huge practical joker, and between Chris Judge, Shanks, and Richard as well, the three, and Amanda actually, we all got on really, really well. And funny enough, we're all very recently reunited in Germany, and none of all that silliness and the pranks have stopped. We've just slotted straight back into it. But they used to, because of course Hathor had this mist that bewitched the men. I mean, Rick would always do things like we'd be going close up for a take, and I'd kind of, be doing my very best sexy breathing, and then he'd be like, "Whoa, who had the onions, honey? Stay back, stay back." And lots of times when we're close up, I remember once when he was in the sarcophagus, and I had to sort of look at his face and say something profound, and he just very quietly off camera went,
a fart gag.
Yeah. Always fart gags, I mean, if it's basically involved poo, they were hysterical,
But that's actually true. It is totally hysterical. Absolutely. Poo, yeah, if you're 3.
Yeah, but it stays with men.
Farts
I've
are
noticed.
fun.
Yeah,
I think 3 end up.
that's got to be the quote of the expo. Farts are fun.
That's actually going to be the sound grab for the interview.
Farts are fun.
That's all over the ABC now, basically, straight away.
It's true. There is something about, you could be in the most direly serious situation and somebody just go, "Bah," and it's like, that's it, you're done.
I've just thought, we had Chris Judge on the show a couple of years ago, and did you just want him to keep talking when he talked? Because he's got the most awesome voice on the planet.
Yes, indeed. So it's a very low, growly voice. But he was the worst because he actually did fart. So he was really bad because, he's so sort of ripped and bodybuilding and everything. So he'd always be on some sort of highfalutin, crazy, ridiculous high protein 16 eggs a day kind of diet, and we would be again at some critical bit in a scene, and there's actually a shot in one of the episodes where you can see Don Davis, the late great Don Davis, kind of going, we're in the middle of the take and suddenly Don's like, there's a little slight, that look around. Sorry, because this is on the radio. That doesn't help you at all. I'm looking around suspiciously. I'm doing the Joey Tribbiani fart, smell the fart in the room acting.
Who dealt it?
Yeah, I know. It was Chris Judge.
So I've thrown out all my questions now that I was going to ask you. So your show was pretty dark and serious. Was anybody floating an air biscuit?
I heard, though, that Chris Judge and Amanda Tapping used to have fun when they were on your show occasionally, didn't they?
Yeah, well, I know...
It was quite a serious set.
It was very serious, but we weren't serious. I mean, just the tone of the show was serious.
Your ship was a bit confined, though, so I don't think that'd be a good plan to be dropping stuff.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the first episode, Air 1, 2, and 3, the pilot, which was 3 episodes.
In fact, they were called Air. That's sort of funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it is funny. So Louis, Colonel Young, flies through the gate and is unconscious for the whole 3 episodes. What a way to start a job.
Yes.
That's awesome acting. See, I could do that.
Nothing you did in the audition, trust me. Honestly, they love you. The
This
writers
is
love
not
you.
a reflection of how this is going to go.
You got glowing eyes. He got to sleep.
He got to sleep. And so props gave him a fart machine. And we were 5 years old for 3 weeks. It was so fun. And that's how we got to know everybody. Because he would just hold the fart machine. It was amazing to see people's reactions. Some people would be they just talk like nothing had happened.
Yes.
It sort of sounds like that you guys didn't need the machine.
No,
so the universe...
Chris Judge.
Yeah. Exactly. We had the machine.
I remember Amanda telling me when we first talked about, the whole Stargate franchise, she was like, you guys are so lucky. There's girls. It was me and a bunch of guys, and it smelled like farts.
Yeah.
It was actually you and a bunch of guys, of course, wasn't it? It's you sort of don't think...
We had girls. We had a lot of girls on our show.
Yeah. So what did you, when you were auditioning for the role, because you're coming in into a very established show, did you have much idea about Stargate?
None. And I also remember it was midsummer, so everyone else was on hiatus in LA, and they were starting to do auditions for kind of guest season things, which sort of usually happen about August, September. And it was July for some reason, I can't remember why, and I had broken my toe, so I couldn't wear shoes on my right foot. And I remember going to the audition, and there were all these women kind of dressed in very, very sexy clothes and very slinky, and I had a pair of trousers on and no shoes, looking a bit sort of like a, homeless person who'd wandered in.
Better than one shoe, though.
Yes. Well, I had one shoe on, but then thought that looks ridiculous.
No, really?
Well, it looks
That's not ridiculous, does it?
Well, at least, taking both off, you're like, I'm going without shoes. It's a conscious decision. If you walk in with one shoe, it's a bit like, does she know she doesn't have other shoe on?
Is she all there?
Yeah. And in Hollywood, honey, you can't be too sure. And then the other thing was they just sent the sides, and they hadn't sent much detail about who she was. Of course, I should have Googled, but I didn't, because I thought she was just made up. I thought she was just a kind of figment of...
I think they were all made up, though.
They were, but...
You mean SG1 wasn't a documentary? It was actually made up.
You mean it's not real?
Right. I thought it was a religion.
Yeah. Actually, that's probably true, yeah. Anyway.
You're going to die for saying that it's not real. No, I'm joking.
If your eyes glowed then, I would have actually freaked out.
Yeah, hang on, I'm working on it. I'm jet lagged. Yeah. But the thing is that, that they're all based on real Egyptian characters. So Hathor is absolutely 100%, and she's a huge goddess in Egypt. Because my husband and I happened to go on honeymoon to Egypt, which was hysterical, because our guide kept going, and this is the beautiful Hathor, she's a goddess, and I'd be like...
Yeah, I built that.
Don't you know?
That big triangle building thing, that's mine.